Welcome back. If you're just joining us, you're right in time for that conversation on infertility. Here are a quick facts. 1 in 5 couples suffer from infertility. That's what data shows. About 4.2 million Kenyans require intervention to conceive. With me here this morning, I have Dr. Shaunuk Kandwala. He is an IVF specialist and is going to help us understand and take us through this part of the conversation. Dr. Thank you so much for your time this morning. Before we begin with this, help us understand what the definition of infertility is. What is infertility?
So infertility is the inability of the couple to conceive or have a child despite staying together for 1 year and having frequent, normal, unprotected intercourse.
Right.
So when a woman is below 35, it's defined as 1 year. But if the woman is more than 35 years, even if they are staying together for 6 months, then they could be termed as infertility. So it's the age of the woman which is very important. As the woman's age goes on increasing, as you know, the eggs go on depleting, the quality of the eggs go on going down. So it's very important that a woman should consider bearing a child before she is 35 for so many reasons.
The safe ages are before 35.
Before 35 is the best results.
Okay. Yeah. Whereas for men?
For men, the age really does not matter. But after 40 or after 45, there is a little depletion in the sperm quality. And nowadays we are finding so many men becoming infertile. I mean, having low sperm count and even zero sperm count. So the incidence of infertility in men is increasing day by day due to various environmental and social factors. You know.
What causes infertility?
Infertility is, in the men and the woman, there are different factors. In the woman, it's more commonly the secondary infertility. You know, we have what is called as primary infertility and secondary infertility. Primary infertility is when a woman has never conceived before. Secondary infertility, she may have conceived, but then she takes a very long time to get a second pregnancy. That could be because, you know, she has had infection, or she went to a quack and got an abortion and therefore there was an infection. She used oral contraceptives for a long time to space the two pregnancies. So there are so many reasons why, and secondary infertility is more prevalent in East Africa and Kenya than is primary infertility.
Oh, wow.
So secondary infertility almost has an incidence of 98% and primary infertility is just 2 to 3%.
Okay, does that mean that if you have two case studies here, one is a primary infertility, the other is a secondary infertility, chances of perhaps one of them becoming pregnant is higher for the person with the secondary fertility?
No, for the primary infertility it is higher. Because maybe, you know, there is something that needs to be tweaked in the couple. They may not be staying together all the time, or they may not be together the fertile period of the woman. So just a bit of counseling can help many couples to conceive. Everybody does not need high-end treatments. Everybody does not need IVF. There are so many couples who can, just counseling or getting them to have a planned or timed intercourse at the time of ovulation can help them. So many people are helped by just doing a diagnostic laparoscopy. So very few people require high-end treatments. And because most of the couples, you know, they are not actually professionally so involved, both of them, that they don't have time to spend for each other. And therefore they may not be. And you know, many times the man is traveling or the woman is traveling, so they don't stay together for a long time together, and therefore they may be not conceiving. So it may be a simple thing like that.
Okay. We want to welcome our audience. If you're watching at home, there's going to be a number at the bottom of your screen. You can call in, and Dr. Kandwala will help answer some of your questions or even some of the comments. So, Dr., let's go to probably, before we even jump to the treatments, I would love to understand what IVF is.
IVF, or what is called as in vitro fertilization, is when we do the fertilization outside the body.
Okay.
So what happens naturally, the fertilization inside the body, that is called in vivo fertilization. But IVF or in vitro fertilization is when we take the sperms and the eggs and then manipulate them inside the laboratory, fertilize them, create an embryo and then put it back into the womb. That is IVF. But IVF is a very broad-based term. It contains a lot of other treatments within it, you know. And the latest treatment that we do now is ICSI or ICSI, that is intracytoplasmic sperm injection, wherein single sperm under a high magnification is injected into one egg. after we remove the egg and sperm. So that gives a very good fertilization rate and therefore very good pregnancy rate. In our center in Mediheal, we have a pregnancy rate of almost 45 to 50% for all who come for IVF.
So it's a popular, is it safe to say that it's a popular concept here in Kenya?
It's getting popular.
Yeah.
It's but because of the price limit, the high cost of the treatment, the limitation is there for the people to come and access it. But of course, we have now some insurance companies who are benefiting some groups of people, like NHIF is taking care of the civil servants as well as the National Police Service, and we have AON Minute who takes care of the Teachers Service Commission.
All right. Kindly iron out for us some of the numbers. This is your area of expertise, numbers in terms of prevalence here in Kenya and on the African continent in general.
Yeah, so as you had mentioned, every 1 in 4 couples of the childbearing age have some degree of infertility. So let's say in Kenya, if you consider a population of childbearing age of 30 million, we would have had 7 or 8 million who are infertile to some degree or the other, either the male, female or both. Now, as far as infertility is concerned, the female accounts for around 30% of the infertility. The males account for about 28%, so they are more or less same. Then there is a combined infertility where both male and female factors are there. That's another 30%. And the remaining 20% is unexplained, where we don't have any factor. There is something called unexplained infertility, where there is no factor. The tubes are okay, uterus is fine, husband's sperm count is okay, everything is okay, but still they do not conceive. So it just needs a little manipulation, maybe an intrauterine insemination or an IVF to help them conceive.
All right, so Dr. Handwala, okay, we talked about age, especially for women, being one of the, a contributor. Stress and lifestyle?
Very important. Obesity, lifestyle like stress, pollutants in the in the environment, toxicity in the food that we eat, heavy metals, etc. Even something like ugali. They have what is called as aflatoxins in the ugali that can reduce the sperm count. So there are so many environmental and lifestyle factors that do play a role.
Okay.
And stress is a very important factor.
Right.
So it's very important to have something like naturopathy or acupuncture or this thing to reduce your stress levels before you go in for a infertility treatment.
All right. Speaking of fertility treatment, take us through that, the different types of fertility treatments that are outside there.
So to start with, as I told you, the couple would need some counseling, and at the most she would need something like ovulation induction. Ovulation induction is when we give the medicines to grow her eggs in the ovary, ovulate, and then something as simple as a timed intercourse. Tell the couple to be together at the time of the ovulation to maximize the chances of pregnancy. If that does not succeed, then you can do something what is called as IUI or intrauterine insemination. It's the same thing. At the time of ovulation, you take the husband's sperm in the lab, you process the sperms, and then you inseminate within the uterus of the woman at the time of ovulation. So it facilitates the coming together of the egg and the sperm and helps to achieve pregnancy. If not that, then you do something called laparoscopy. If there is a fibroid, you remove the fibroid. If there are adhesions, you remove the adhesions. If the tubes are blocked, you can try to open the tubes. That would help. So 60 to 70% of the infertile population can be treated with these treatments. The remaining 30% will need what is called as in vitro fertilization, IVF, ICSI, the other methods, which we do at Mediheal.
Costs. What are the different prices for the different fertility treatments?
So if you consider the lowest treatment like intrauterine insemination, that would be around 35 to 40,000 per attempt, shillings.
So that's sort of per session?
Yeah, so it's per month, per the cycle.
Okay.
So one single attempt of IUI would cost 35 to 40,000. Okay. I'm including medication in this. If you do IVF, it's 10 times. It's 400 to 450,000. It can be sometimes going up to 500,000.
IVF is more expensive?
It's the most expensive treatment for infertility. A laparoscopy or a hysteroscopy, if you do, it will be around somewhere between 200 to 350,000.
Right. All right.
IVF can go as much as $500,000.
Wow.
with the medications and everything.
Wow.
You know.
All right. Help me understand one thing. A lot of conversation, this is a debate we were having not so long ago here in the office, is that you can manipulate or that you can decide the sex of your child.
Yeah,
If I want a boy, if I want a girl. Yeah, to what extent is that? Help
to a
us
certain
understand.
extent. I mean, there are different ways of doing it. The most guaranteed method of a boy or a girl is by doing IVF and doing what we call as preconceptional genetic screening or diagnosis, in which we do an biopsy of the embryo, and the embryo biopsy is sent for chromosomal studies or genetic studies. And if the results come to, they can tell us whether it's XX or XY. And if it's XY, that is a boy. So we put those embryos into the uterus, and if she implants, most likely to be a boy. So you can guarantee a sex determination there, sex selection there. But otherwise, there are other methods of doing which are not so good. I mean, we can process the sperms in such a way and then put them inside the uterus so that the Y sperm, because it's the man's sperms which determine whether the sex is going to be a boy or a girl. The Y sperms or the X sperms. So if the Y sperms are put inside, or Y sperms, by doing a special method, they are put inside the uterus, they are more likely to give rise to a boy.
All right. Let's talk about, you touched a bit on counseling, especially for couples who find it very difficult to conceive. Why perhaps is it important, and why would you advise a lot of them to first of all see a counselor before even coming for the IVF treatments? Because like you said, some of them do not even have to go through the expense, this expensive part of treatment. What they just need is proper time together as a couple. So why is counseling very important?
So the counseling goes hand in hand with the treatment. When they come to the infertility specialist, there should be a counselor also in the IVF unit who will tell them that these are the factors responsible for your infertility, and therefore you need to do this. And also myself as a doctor, I do a lot of counseling for the patients. I give them the right advice as to what is exactly needed for them. Because sometimes the patients get carried away and they want to do IVF straight away. They think that they are losing time and they are at the end of the precipice and they may not be able to conceive. But it's important for us doctors to inform them of the realities and of the actual solutions. So we need to tell them exactly what is required for them at that time, and if it's as simple as just being together and having intercourse at the right time, it solves their problem so easily.
Yeah, it saves them a lot of time and money.
Sure.
All right, I'm told we have a phone call. I'm not sure what your name is, but please introduce yourself, perhaps your question or your comment to Daktari.
Hello?
Hello.
Yes.
How are you this morning?
I'm fine. I'm Silvan.
Yes. How are you, Silvan?
Yes, I'm Silvan. I call from Baringo, where Parweza.
Yes. What's your...
Yes. Sorry?
Go ahead.
Ya, ninataka niulize, nimeona jambo moja ambaye amesema ya kwamba women, the right time for them awe na mtoto sana sana ni 35 years. I wonder what happened is my auntie, she got a baby 56 years old.
At 66?
56 years old, and the girl now, she's alipata msichana na she's very much okay. Na alikuwa na watoto wengine, amezaa watoto wengine. Sasa akifika miaka ile wanasema yes, amekuwa ya mwisho. Sasa all of a sudden akapata mimba. And then she met me, she told me, what do I do? Sasa nitasa kama nimekuwa mzee, watu watanichekelea. Kama tutapata tu mtoto mzuri, na up to now msichana ni mzuri, anaendelea vizuri. I wonder ni nini ambaye inafanya ni nini nilifanya sasa apate mimba akiwa na hizo miaka 56.
Asante sana Silvan.
Ala. Haya. So wacha nisiseme hiyo ingine, nimeopa vile amesema. Sitaki niseme kuhusu hiyo mambo ya wanaume hiyo. Mimi waje wengine wachangie. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Silvan. All right, so Silvan has a question over there. Her friend who got her first child at the age of 56, and not just one, she has had a couple of children afterwards. This goes beyond the 35 age limit clearly. So what in this case perhaps could have caused...
It beats me.
It beats you?
Yeah, because is it a natural conception, or was it because we can get a woman pregnant at even 56 or 60 with IVF. Because what you do is we use egg donation.
Right.
I'm sure a woman after 45 or 50 gets menopausal, and therefore her ovaries cease to function. Very rarely they remain, I mean, she's lucky that she got a natural conception at the age of 56, not one, but as you said, even 2 or 3, I guess.
Right.
But usually the ovarian function, ceases at around 45. A woman becomes menopausal by 50. And therefore, whenever a couple comes to me where the woman's age is more than 40, I always advise them to go for egg donation, more or less, sometime. Because her eggs being, not only are they fewer in number, but they are lesser in quality also. So if she even gives rise to a pregnancy at that age, more likely to be a abnormal pregnancy, or there could be defects in the fetus.
Right. The aspect of freezing eggs, can women do that in Kenya? Help us understand that.
Yeah, we can.
And at what age can I freeze my eggs?
We can do it. We can start freezing eggs right at the age of, because of for fertility preservation. You can come at the age of 25, 30, 32 and start multiple times. We can retrieve your eggs and freeze them, so that when you become older and then you ultimately have a partner or you get married, you can use those same eggs to get fertilized by your husband's sperm and then have a pregnancy.
So despite my age, as long as I've perhaps frozen my eggs years before?
Yeah, they can remain viable even afterwards.
And how much would such a concept cost?
Egg freezing would cost you somewhere between 40 to 50,000 per year.
All right, and help us. The other thing within such a sensitive industry is that a lot of quacks are outside there. How is it that perhaps specialists like you maneuver through that? Because like you said, a lot of probably women would have gone to an abortion clinic and the abortion did not happen the right way. Then they come to a proper doctor, and by then it's too late.
It's too late, yeah.
Yes, your thoughts on that?
Well, that is for the government to regulate actually, because we can't do anything about that. But whoever is listening to us, the patients, they should understand that if they think that they have a problem, they should go to a proper doctor. Even if they want to get an abortion done as early as possible, if they can get a pregnancy detected and they want an abortion, they can take a pill and get an abortion, so they don't have to go to a quack to get a DNC done, which can cause infection and therefore block their tubes in the future, and then she can have a tough time becoming a mother. And also for infertility treatments, there are so many women or so many couples who resort to herbal medication. I don't understand how that works really, but they have a lot of faith. Some of them have a lot of faith in herbal medication. But I would feel that they should come either to a gynecologist directly or a general practitioner who would refer them to a gynecologist, who would then refer them to a fertility specialist.
All right.
So it's very important to go that way.
Benjamin Wekesa, you are calling in from Mombasa. Thank you so much for tuning in this morning. Perhaps your comment or your question to the contribution to today's conversation?
Yeah, Benjamin Wekesa.
Go ahead.
Hello?
Yes.
Yeah, nilikuwa nauliza swali.
Yes.
Yeah, ni chakula gani maybe yenye mtu anaweza kukula ndio avoid maybe infertility rate? Kama hiyo nilikuwa nauliza hivyo.
Chakula ile inaweza increase fertility rate.
Yeah, inaweza increase maybe mtu kukula hiyo chakula ndio labda inaweza kusaidia infertility karudi chini.
Okay, sawa. Ya kuongeza ama ya kurudi chini?
Ya kuongeza yani kwa nauliza hivi. Chakula yenye mtu anaweza kukula ikasaidia kutokuwa infertile. Yeah.
Aya, asante sana Benjamin.
Okay.
All right, so Benjamin is asking there, what sort of foods does one eat in order to increase their fertility?
Well,
and I'm guessing because he's a man, it would be now specifically for a male body.
Yeah, so for a male actually, bananas, almonds are very good. And besides that, of course, we have medication, but this dietary support would be good along with the medication to increase the sperm count, motility, all that. And of course, the very important is to what not to take. That is, you need to stop smoking, you need to stop drinking alcohol of any kind, even beer is not good, and or you need to reduce your intake of alcohol. You can't just give up suddenly. So you need to reduce your intake of alcohol, you need to try to exercise more often, try to reduce, if you are on a higher side as far as your BMI is concerned, that is, you're overweight, you need to lose weight. Even a little weight loss, either in a man or a woman, makes a lot of difference for the infertility, for the fertility rates.
Right. Let me pose the same question, but now for women. What to eat to increase a woman's fertility? Is it true that groundnuts works even?
Women, there are so many other, we have herbal products. I mean, there are supplements that are there, which they can take, with omega-3 fatty acids and, so many oxidate. So those nutrients are good for women, but I think what I would rely on is more like medication. My medications are there, which are, allopathic medications, formulations like, we have drugs called Fertilion F for the female and Fertilion M for the male, which are very good today.
Do they have any side effects that perhaps one should keep an eye on?
Not really. I think they are very good as far as, because they got all the good materials that can increase the sperm count in a man and the woman's fertility also, because they improve the blood flow in the ovary as well as in the uterus, and therefore they help to increase the ovulation or the egg quality and the implantation in the uterus.
Interesting. All right. So, Dr. A, before I let you go, I really want to hear what, as a professional in this field, you mentioned that earlier that you'd want to see the government do more in order to keep quacks away from the industry. What would you like to see them do? And does the fertility, should I say, specialists in Nairobi and in Kenya in general have their own group of experts? Is there a body under them?
Yeah, sure. We have a Kenya Fertility Society, KFS, who is which was formed about a few years ago. And what I would like the government to do is to get regulation. There is no law or no bill passed as far as the assisted reproductive techniques are concerned or the IVF is concerned. So we need a bill to be passed, a law to be made. And also, we have what is called as third-party reproduction.
Right.
That is egg donation, sperm donation, and something you must be knowing called gestational surrogacy, wherein a woman who is just a third party, she carries the pregnancy for this couple.
Yes.
So there is gestational surrogacy. So we need tight laws regarding all these modalities.
To keep the quacks
only
out.
then we can, only then we can go ahead properly.
All right. Felix Odhiambo, you are calling in from Busia. Good morning. What is your comment or your contribution to the conversation?
Morning, madam.
Good morning.
Yeah.
Yes.
My question goes to the doctor.
Yes.
Nataka kujua, is there any chances kwamba you might be infertile after having had children before with another partner? When you get married to another partner, is there any chances that you as a man can be infertile?
Okay.
That's point number one. Point number two, I would like to have the contact with the doctor.
Yes.
So that I can arrange for the treatment.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much, Felix. Towards the ending part of the conversation, I'm sure Dr. A will share with us his numbers and the clinic that you'll be able to find him at. But let me begin with that important question of his, the aspect of where, as a man, you can become infertile, the chances of that. Help him demystify or break the stereotypes around that. Because even a lot over history, with the likes of the Roman emperor, he would have a couple of women thinking that it's the wives that are infertile, but it's him. But just help us demystify and understand MILF infertility.
So actually what he's talking about, I think, is a second marriage with another woman.
Right.
And he could concede with the first but could not with the second. So it could be the woman, the second woman who is involved, may be responsible. But this is called relative infertility, where the first marriage you had a child, but you have a problem with the second marriage. So that could be due to various factors. I think it's because of one of these spouses, or it could be something that has your sperm count has reduced over a period of few years and you have not realized that. And as I told you, with environmental and toxicity factors and food and this and all that, obesity, even the work temperature, a hot place like in Mombasa or in the coast, male infertility is very common because the heat reduces the sperm production.
Wow. All right.
So that could be one of the reasons why he's having this problem, or why a person has a problem in a second marriage, or it could be the woman involved. So you need to be investigated. As he said, he's wants to get in touch with me so we can investigate him. And then
fertility clinics in the country, where are they? How many are they?
Now, according to a research done, you require to do 1,500 IVF treatments per million of population. So if you consider even a population of 30 million which is affected, we would need to do 45,000 IVF cycles in a year. Whereas at this point, we have 10 IVF centers in Kenya. There is one on the coast, there is one on the western, there's Eldoret, and there are 8 or 9 in Nairobi itself.
But we could have more.
So we are doing only 1,500 cycles, all 10 of us.
Okay.
Only 1,500, maximum 1,800 cycles a year. And we need to do 45,000.
And where can viewers such as Felix, how can they get in touch with you?
I believe you will be able to display our numbers later on.
We shall, and perhaps also on social media?
Sure.
All right, fantastic. Thank you so much.
And there was one more thing I need to tell you was that, as I said, the insurance company should take more, participation. Even if they could not cover the whole part of the IVF, at least partly they can reimburse the IVF costs. That would go a long way for so many couples.
Before I let you go, could you give us that number right now?
Number 4?
Could you state the number that our audiences can get in touch with you on?
It's 0789 26 789 6.
All right. Thank you so much. We'll be able to share that with our viewers as well. Dr. Handwala, an IVF specialist helping us understand infertility here in Kenya and the different modes of treatment and so forth. We will be displaying his contacts later on, and for any of our viewers, such as Felix, to get in touch with him. Let's take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back.